Hi everyone, today's video is about 3 years late, as I've majorly failed to put the footage together, so hopefully it works this time. This doll was customized for the 2019 Dollightfull Topical Doll Collab, so I had decided to make an ocean themed doll due to the base doll I had. The base doll, along with another one, was given to me for my birthday. Unfortunately, they are fakes of star darlings on Monster High bodies with ever after high clothes. A bootleg collab, I guess. In the video, you can see I already started with some accessories, namely the shoes and arm decorations, made by covering the doll in aluminium foil and adding hot glue in the shapes I want, so that it remains flexible, although not particularly sturdy. On the legs, the shapes were meant to represent coral, and on the arms, plants. When adding the hot glue, I used the tip of the glue gun to melt and smooth the glue and into the shape I want. Outside my footage, I prepped the doll by cutting and sanding off excess plastic and seam lines around the body and removing most of the face paint with acetone. I do so carefully as she has acrylic inset eyes and I don't want to remove or damage them, as I'm going to be reusing them. I also gave her a good cleaning with soap and water afterwards. I cut several lengths of wire to use as a base for a kind of a cage skirt thing, which becomes larger toward the bottom, like a tiered cake. I bent the wire into an almost circle shape, leaving a gap at the front. I originally used elastic to connect the circles, but later switched to a thin wire instead, as that was much more stable. I bought a pack of marine animal and plant toys, and after deciding which to use, I started painting them with a white base coat. After the base coat, I start painting the animals according to my references, choosing tropical and warm water species over cold water species to fit with the theme. I also choose a few plants, which I am going to add to my shoes later. After painting the fish, I go back to the shoes with some sand-colored air dry clay. On one foot I'm sculpting a sunken ship and on the other a sandbank. Once they are dry and painted, I decorate them with various plant-looking things and seashells. I also start decorating the palm tree on the left arm, first adding wires, then adding paper leaves on top of the wires so that the leaves are posable. On the right arm I add more flowery decorations. For her earrings, I simply glued some tiny seashells onto wires that are able to fit into the holes in her ears. For her hair accessories, I simply glue them onto Velcro so that they can stick to her hair. They include some flowers and a sea star. I also tried making a jellyfish to float on her hair out of hot glue and iridescent paper strips, but it ended up too heavy for use. Then, before finishing off my marine creatures and plants with some sealant, I coated some of them in different colored mica powders for a nice shimmer. After that, I attached them to the cage skirt by hanging them on wires attached to the skirt, so that they look like they're swimming in the ocean. That is her skirt. Next up, the clothes. It's a simple outfit consisting of a swimsuit and a large skirt. I didn't have the right colored blue fabric, so I used some fabric paint to color it blue and some glitter paint for some pretty shimmer. And for some reason I glued the whole thing together instead of sewing it together. I wanted the skirt part to be completely transparent, so its shadow would be transparent and bluish like water, especially with the sea animals on the bottom. So I opted to use cellophane for the skirt. I used several layers starting from a light blue to a dark blue to mimic the ocean waves. I originally wanted to just glue a ribbon on so I could tie it around the waist, but my glue melted the cellophane, creating a chunky mess. So instead I added some eyelets and threaded the ribbon through the skirt. Lastly is the face up. I start by masking off her eyes and adding my initial sealant layer. The sealant I'm using is Reeves Matte Varnish, which is a brush-on sealant, and I dilute it with water in a 1:3 ratio. I first use blue watercolor pencil to sketch in my eyebrows, then I use blue pastels on a Q-tip to add eyeshadow to her eyes, and then I use a Q-tip to add a peachy pastel to her lips and a tiny bit to her cheeks. Then I finish off her eyebrows and eyeliner with paint. Off screen, unfortunately, as my camera died and I did not notice at all. And finishing off lastly with another layer or two of my sealant. So that's that. A mess of it all, even more so footage wise. Looking back, I really don't know why it took so long to finish editing this video, especially since this only has 8 hours or so of footage. Anyway, I promised to upload it, so here it finally is. I hope you enjoyed it, even though it's super late and also not that much of anything really. Well, thanks for watching. Bye.